project. Ooh, reverse. I'll be talking about the faces behind, which hopefully you'll understand in a second, and we're going to start with a game. Who doesn't love games? Okay, who is this?
Beyonce.
Beyonce, duh. Not to be like passive aggressive, but like I hope you know that. Okay, now, who's this?
She's the writer for Beyonce.
Oh, I have no idea. She like writes lyrics for them.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
this is Nigel Charles. She's the writer of No Guidance by Chris Brown, which is currently on the top charts. I Do by Cardi B, Love Happy by Beyonce and Jay-Z. Okay, who's this? Camila Cabello. Not her biggest fan, but like she's doing her thing, you know? Who's this? Silence from the audience. Good, good. This is Ali Tamposi. She's the writer of Stronger by Kelly Clarkson, Havana by Camila Cabello, and Let Me Love You by Justin Bieber. So the world of songwriting and music, there's so much, even within the songwriting industry. There are typically 3 categories of jobs even within the songwriting industry. So there's singer-songwriter, freelance writing, and publishing deals. So an example of a singer-songwriter would be Pharrell Williams. A lot of you know him for Happy, which you can debate after this if that's a good song or not. But also he's responsible for writing and producing all of the Sweetener album by Ariana Grande. Other artists like this, Ed Sheeran is a popular one, Taylor Swift, they all write for other artists while pursuing their own career. Freelance writers, this is a random girl because freelance, you're not really assigned to anybody, you're not pursuing your own career, so they're not tied down or anything like that. And then publishing deal, this is Kelly Garner. She actually used to be a professor here at Belmont, and she had her own publishing deal. So what that means is, an example of this would be Tori Kelly assigned to Capitol Records. So if I'm a writer and I have a publishing deal for Capitol Records, I'm writing for all of the artists at that studio. They can all go through my music and my work and see, okay, this is a song that I want to put on hold. So say Tori Kelly goes through and she has found 4 of my songs in a row, and she's like, wow, like whenever Shannon writes, oh, I wish this would happen. And she's like, wow, whenever Shannon writes, I typically like those songs. So then she can specifically sign me. So publishing deals, you can be signed to a record company or you can be signed to a personal artist. So I personally fall into the singer-songwriter category. This is me doing my thing. So the next thing that artists have to consider when it comes to songwriting in general is the form. So songwriters, when trying to write a good hit, typically fit it into a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus form. But it typically originated from Strophic form. A popular thing that you learn about in music history is Gregorian chant, which means that all of the music was on the same melody line. Typically speak singing, there's no call and answer, it's all the same. And this has evolved, I'm not going to go through all of these, but it evolved over time to lead us to this, which is a typical pop song. Pop songs, like I said, it's verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. This is what a lot of songwriters use in order to write a hit song and end up on that front page, which is where you can be considered a successful songwriter. A lot of people typically complain, though, that pop music and hits and stuff like that are very repetitive, dull, there's not much meaning there. So why is this? Well, according to research, our attention spans have decreased a lot in the last 15 years. Our attention span in 2000 was 12 seconds, and it actually decreased from that to 8.25 seconds. And to put that in relative terms, a goldfish has the average attention span of 9 seconds. So that is a yikes for humans and a yikes for writers, because that limits their freedom. They're not able to truly express and contain all of their wisdom and poetry because they have to write for audiences that attention span is not really there. So looking at the actual lyrics themselves, the intelligence has changed over the last 10 years. It's gone down a whole grade level. And you might say, just a grade level, that's not that big of a deal. But it started at a 3rd grade level. So when you decrease it by a whole grade level, the average intelligence of a song now is what 8-year-olds are learning in school. So that's a little sad. And then to look at this broken up into genres, if you look at the top artists, a lot of times the singers, I know, they'll sacrifice their grade level for lyrics in terms of word count. So Mariah Carey is a really good example of this because her grade average is the highest. She's almost at a 4th grade level. And she has the smallest word count. So I think a lot of times what songwriters do is if they want to say something in many words, that will be the more, so what Mariah Carey does is she uses less words and a higher intelligence level, but a lot of times when people attack things from a more intellectually provoking thing, they use more words such as Eminem in order to fully explain because they know that their listeners will not get it if it's not fully elaborated on. So from there, you have to then, which is so sad, but another thing that they have to focus on, not just in terms of how many words they're using, but it's also the content of their words. And this will get more into the techniques that people use to try and be relatable as pop artists, because you're not going to buy something if it doesn't strike a chord with you. So something that my friends have done and that I think is a great technique is going on Twitter and seeing trending tweets. These are just funny, read them now while you can. Seeing things that a lot of people can relate to. So we're about to get a little bit deeper. Hard pills to swallow. If they wanted to, they would. Timing will always be in your favor. Mental health. You used to have friends. Things like that. It's social media can be used to a songwriter's advantage to go and see what are many people in this world feeling in common, so that they can go and write about something that they know is going to be relatable. Another very famous technique that you maybe saw on Tumblr back in those days is called blacking out. And so you'll take a book page or something of the sort, and you'll actually go through and you'll black out letters in order to come up with a short poem. And what songwriters will do is they'll use that as their hook. So I did one. I'm going to read you what I came up with, and then I'll pass it around so you can just see it. I didn't use black, I used green so that you'd be able to read, So the one that I came up with was, I paced recounting why things had to go. Is there any way to work it all out? Sorry, but no, he replied. Frustration, complication. His will startled me. So this is actually like the page of this book. It's a Christian book and this page is about the girl driving to the airport. So you can see that like what I came up with has absolutely no correlation to what the book is about. And so how people will do this is you can go through and you circle words that you find connect, and then you go through and you black out all the other ones. So that being said, I just kind of wanted to talk today about how there's so much that goes into writing a hit song, whether it is the structure, the content, or the relatability. There's a lot that makes a hit song a hit song. I put this image at the end because I liked the contrast of the colors, and it just shows you that a lot of times we get this as listeners, and there are so many people and factors that go into what we listen to when we put headphones on. So I hope to maybe one day be on the whole the faces behind thing, maybe in 10 years when somebody else is giving this presentation. So thank you for listening.